I've been thinking a lot recently about mundane successes, these sort of small personal victories that you do in private. There's no fanfare. There's no audience. No one's even going to applaud you. No one's going to give you a pat on the back. Like, how boring of a success to say, I didn't mess up another horse's day today. Like there is few lower magnificent successes that you could do. And yet, I think we need language around how that is something that's important. That is a victory that you should be able to say at the end of the day when you look yourself in the mirror. Hey, you were gentle with that person when you were frustrated.
Right.
This person came up to you and you were all agitated and you chose to put civility first. Like that's something, and no one's going to give you a pat on the back for being modestly polite and civilized, right? It's cool that you say that. I really think that more language around being gentle with yourself and appreciating when you have these small, unmagnificent victories is probably something good.
Well, if you look at it, like in math, you study your negative numbers and your positive numbers in math. Okay, so you've got a chart, and let's start to my left. You've got -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in life, you're at -5. And people tend to think, and sometimes we tend to think, until I'm at 2, I didn't accomplish anything. But getting from a -5 to a -4, that's a victory. And then
avoiding going from a -4 to a -5.
Yes. Just staying at a -5, we didn't go to -6. That's a victory, when I was young, come home from work, how was your day today, honey? I didn't get in a fight, so it was a good day, and, but that is a victory. It's, I study you name your podcast, wisdom is not, in my studies, I'm starting to see this. Wisdom is predominantly not something that you do. If you study the book of Proverbs in the Bible, okay, if you study Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and you study these wisdom writings, there's much more of the wisdom writings that are telling you things not to do than there are telling you need to do this to be wise. But more of it is, if you're wise, you won't do this. And so, like what we're talking here, a lot of victories is just, I didn't do that today.
There's an idea from mathematics called never multiply by 0. So we can have 2 million multiplied by 47, multiplied by 2.1, multiplied by 20,000, multiplied by 0 is 0.
Is 0.
So if you spend all of your time working on your health and avoiding seed oils and eating only grass-fed organic meat, but one day decide to drive your car without a seatbelt on, that's multiplying by 0 if you get into a wreck.
Right.
And so much of life, I think, is avoiding pitfalls, not expediting successes, because the pitfalls can kick you out of the game permanently, or they can do things that they're so catastrophic, they take much longer to come back from. And this is, in some ways, an excuse for being averse to risk.
Right.
But I think it's just being clever about risk and knowing where you can take risks that have limited downside, not unlimited downside.
Right. Well, we work a lot with horses, of course, and we've gotten some horses in this year. They weren't ours. Like, my son had bought a horse last year, and the horse was, if you knew what you were doing, you could ride the horse, but the horse was not a broke horse. He didn't have him for very long, and then he deployed overseas. He's in the military. So we brought him to our place. And so, there's all these things, and the 2 young men that were working with me, it's like, okay, don't move fast. Don't jump, let's do this.
Don't scare him.
Let's be calm, because they're a prey animal. So there's all this stuff that we work with, and so the young man that rode, he went out and rode him, and he didn't do anything but it was just, he reached in the saddlebag and pulled out one of these water bottles, and it crinkled, and that horse, he just jumped out of his skin. I mean, he didn't turn into a wreck, but it was just like, you spend all of this time moving easy around the horse, working with them real easy and slow, so the saddle, cinching them up nice and slow, cinching them by threes, and moving all nice and easy. And then just one thing, crinkling a water bottle, and you just multiplied by 0.